The mining station floated in silence above the dead star. From a distance, it looked like a broken crown made of steel, hanging in the cold void of space. Its outer walls were patched with metal sheets, scars from old battles and accidents. Long arms stretched from the core, pulling energy and rare minerals from the dead star's crust. It was not a place of beauty. It was a place of work, sweat, and danger. Inside the station, life was harder than the metal floors. Aliens from many worlds labored together, working long hours for little pay. Their bodies were built for the harsh jobs. Tall insectoids carried heavy drills, reptilian workers cut through stone with claws, and gas-breathing creatures hovered in sealed suits while fixing dangerous pipes. The station smelled of oil, dust, and something sharp that burned the nose. Among these workers moved Captain Ryan Hale. He was not one of them. He wore the plain gray suit of an engineer, but his posture was straighter and his eyes sharper. His work brought him to many stations like this where reactors often broke down and only human skill could repair them. He was respected for his steady hands and clear mind, though most aliens did not understand why humans still risked traveling alone to such places. Ryan had a task. The mining station's main reactor was failing. If it shut down, the machines would freeze, the air systems would die, and thousands of workers would suffocate. He moved through the crowded halls, scanning the reactor readouts on his wrist device. As he walked, he noticed the workers, each busy with their tasks, not paying him much attention. And then he noticed her. At first, he thought she was just another worker. She wore a thick brown hood pulled low, covering her face. Her clothes were simple, rough like the uniforms handed out to miners. She carried a heavy toolbox and moved silently between groups, fixing pipes and checking equipment. Nothing about her seemed important, but Ryan paused. Something felt off. The way she walked was too balanced, too careful. Her steps were quiet, almost controlled. The box she carried looked heavy, yet she lifted it with ease, like it weighed nothing. He frowned, shaking his head. Maybe it was nothing. He had no time to think about a single worker. Still, he caught himself watching her. The station was full of noise, metal clanging, drills shaking the walls, and alien voices shouting instructions in different tongues. Yet the hooded worker never shouted, never spoke. She kept her head down and worked quickly. When another worker barked at her for blocking the path, she moved aside without a word. When a machine sparked and nearly burned her hand, she only adjusted her gloves and kept going. Ryan muttered to himself, "Strange." He entered the reactor chamber. It was massive, a circular room filled with glowing pipes and humming cores. The heart of the station beat here, but it was weak. Warning, lights flashed red, sparks burst from the main conduits. He pulled out his tools and set to work. The repairs were difficult. The system was alien-made, full of designs humans found strange. But Ryan had spent years learning to adapt. His hands worked with calm speed, fixing one piece at a time. Hours passed. The reactor still trembled. The temperature climbed higher. Ryan wiped sweat from his forehead. If he failed, everyone would die. In the corner of his eye, he saw the hooded worker again. She had slipped into the chamber silently. She was checking the side panels, her hands moving fast across the controls. Ryan frowned. That was not the job of a simple miner. Most miners avoided the reactor. It was too complex and dangerous. Yet she moved with ease, almost like she understood it better than the aliens who built it. Ryan stepped closer. "Hey," he called out. His voice echoed in the chamber. "You're not supposed to be here." The worker froze, her hood still hiding her face. She did not reply. Ryan walked up beside her. "These controls aren't for miners. If you touch the wrong thing, the whole system could explode. Who told you to come in here?" Still no answer. She only adjusted a switch, stopping a stream of sparks from one panel. Ryan narrowed his eyes. He wanted to demand more, but alarms suddenly blared through the station. A deep grinding sound shook the walls. The reactor core pulsed wildly, threatening to overload. Ryan rushed back to his station, No time for this, he muttered. The worker moved quickly too, helping in her own way. Her hands flew across the panels, shutting valves, sealing off broken circuits. Ryan noticed she was doing it correctly, exactly how he would have done. When the alarms calmed, Ryan leaned against the console, catching his breath. The crisis had passed for now, but the core still needed heavy repairs. He looked over at the worker. She was already leaving, toolbox in hand, hood low over her face. "Wait," Ryan said, his voice firm. "Who are you?" But she slipped out, through the side door without a word. Ryan sighed. "Strange," he whispered again. He did not like mysteries, especially not on a failing station. Later that cycle, he walked the worker halls. The station was dim and crowded, lit by old yellow lamps. The aliens sat in groups eating their rough meals, their voices echoing in the cold air. Among them, the hooded figure sat alone, back against the wall. She did not join the others. She did not laugh, did not share food. She only sat quietly, her head lowered as if waiting. Ryan studied her from across the hall. Something about her posture was different from the others. Most workers were tired, their bodies slumped. She was still, like a soldier waiting for an order. He almost went over to ask her more questions. But just then, a group of insectoid workers got into a fight, their claws slashing in anger. Ryan stepped in, calming them with firm words and quick logic. By the time he looked back, the hooded worker was gone again. That night, Ryan could not sleep in his small quarters. His mind kept returning to the image of the worker. Why was she here? Why did she work like someone hiding in plain sight? And why did she know the reactor systems better than she should? The station creaked around him. The dead star below pulled at the station's metal bones. He knew danger was near. And now, another danger walked among the workers. Quiet, hidden, and unknown. He whispered into the darkness. "Who are you really?" But the walls gave no answer. The mining station was alive with activity. Massive drills tore into the crust of the dead star, sending clouds of mineral dust floating in low gravity. Alien workers moved in practiced rhythms, their bodies perfectly suited to the harsh tasks. Some walked on multiple limbs. Some hovered with anti-gravity packs. The hum of machinery and the sharp scent of hot metal filled every corridor. Ryan Hale walked through the halls again, this time carrying spare tools for the reactor. His mind still lingered on the hooded worker he had seen yesterday. Who was she? And how could she move with such skill and calm in a place full of danger? The thought distracted him more than he liked. As he passed the mining shaft, a wide tunnel where massive drills dug into the star, he noticed the crowd of alien workers shifting nervously. A deep metallic rumble shook the walls, louder than normal. Sparks flew from a broken panel and alarms rang out across the shaft. Ryan ran toward the commotion. "What is happening?" he shouted. A tall insectoid worker turned, his multiple eyes wide. "Drill malfunction," he said in broken trade language. Ryan's heart sank. Malfunctioning drills were dangerous. If they jammed or broke completely, the shaft could collapse, crushing anyone inside. Without thinking, he rushed toward the main drill control. But the hooded worker was already there. She moved with speed and precision, dodging falling debris as the drill shuddered violently. She did not shout, she did not panic. She simply acted, her hands on the controls, stabilizing the machine. Ryan froze. He had seen many accidents, but never someone handle a drill like this. It required careful timing, strength, and perfect coordination. One wrong move and the drill could snap the entire support beam. He ran closer, shouting instructions to the alien workers. "Shut the auxiliary valves, hold the stabilizers, move." The aliens looked unsure. Their bodies were strong, but their minds panicked in moments of crisis. The hooded worker, however, seemed to anticipate every failure. Her hands flew across the panels, tightening bolts, rerouting power, and manually adjusting hydraulic systems. Ryan could not believe it. "Who are you?" he shouted, but she did not answer. She only glanced briefly at him, then focused back on the malfunctioning drill. A massive metal arm swung out from the drill, aimed directly at the insectoid workers below. Ryan froze for a split second. Too late. But the hooded worker leapt into the path, her body twisting with impossible agility. She pushed the aliens out of the way and grabbed the lever on the swinging arm, stopping it just in time. The impact nearly knocked her down, but she landed on her feet, holding the arm steady. Sparks showered around her, yet she remained calm. Ryan stared, mouth open. That's impossible, he muttered. The alien workers stared too, a mix of fear and awe in their eyes. They had seen accidents before, but never someone so small and fast save lives like that. The drill finally settled, its rumbling slowing to a mechanical hum. The crisis had passed, but the air was thick with dust and tension. The hooded worker adjusted her gloves and picked up her toolbox as if nothing had happened. Ryan ran up to her. "Wait, you could have been killed. That was insane. How did you—" She looked at him, her face still hidden under the hood. Her eyes flicked toward him for just a moment, calm and unreadable. "It's my job," she said quietly, almost like it was obvious. Then she turned and walked away, disappearing into the shadows of the mining shaft. Ryan shook his head, confused. "Your job? You weren't even assigned here, were you?" But the worker was gone. Ryan walked among the recovering alien workers. They whispered among themselves, pointing at where she had been. Some of the taller insectoids lowered their mandibles in respect. Others muttered nervously, unsure if she was human or some rare alien species. The aliens were starting to notice something unusual. This worker was different. Not just different in skill, but in presence. She did not behave like the others, and yet she had acted to save them without thought for herself. Ryan leaned against the wall, trying to calm his racing thoughts. He had seen humans do impressive things, but rarely like this. Humans were clever, adaptable, brave. But she had displayed all of those qualities at once with unmatched precision. The rest of the day passed in tense quiet. The drill was repaired, the alarm silenced, and workers returned to their tasks, though glances toward the shadows remained frequent. Ryan kept his eyes open too, but she did not appear again. That evening, when the station's lights dimmed for the first rest cycle, Ryan made his way to the common hall. The workers ate and relaxed after a long day, voices blending in a mix of alien languages. He found a quiet corner and studied the room carefully, and there she was again. The hooded worker sat alone at the far end of the hall, a small plate of food in front of her. She moved slowly, deliberately, as if observing everything but revealing nothing. The hood was still low, hiding her face in shadows. Ryan approached cautiously. "You need to eat properly. You can't keep moving like this and stay hidden," he said quietly. She did not respond. She glanced at him, just a flicker of her eyes showing beneath the hood, and then looked back at her meal. He frowned. "Why are you hiding? Are you working undercover?" She remained silent. Ryan felt a strange tension. There was something more to her than skill, more than secrecy. There was intelligence, calculation, and control, something human, yet far beyond what he expected from a simple worker. After a long moment, she spoke softly. "Sometimes staying quiet is safer." Ryan leaned back, realizing she was not going to reveal anything more. But he could tell this. She was not an ordinary worker. That night, Ryan returned to his quarters, but sleep did not come easily. He replayed the accident in the mining shaft over and over in his mind. The way she moved, the way she calculated every action. It was perfect. She had saved lives without hesitation, without concern for her own safety. The thought unsettled him. Humans could be clever and strong, but she was different. He realized with a shiver that she might be trained in ways humans rarely were. And if that was true, why would someone like her hide among miners on a station filled with dangerous aliens? The station groaned in the dark. Metal walls creaked as the dead star tugged at the orbiting structure. Outside, distant lights flickered, ships passing far in the void. Ryan stared at the ceiling, imagining the hooded worker moving silently, among the shadows, always watching, always ready. He whispered into the darkness, "Who are you, really?" No answer came. Only the low hum of the station replied. Morning arrived quickly, and the station returned to its rhythm. Workers moved. Machines roared and dust hung in the air like a haze. Ryan went to check the reactor, hoping for a calm day, but something told him it would not be easy. Sure enough, as he walked through the halls, he heard the sound of machinery failing. A distant rumble from another shaft made the walls vibrate. He turned the corner, and there she was, hood low, already in motion. This time he did not speak, he simply watched. The hooded worker moved with precision, checking pipes and cables that humans and aliens alike would struggle to understand. She balanced herself on narrow beams, handled heavy tools with ease, and moved with a confidence that seemed almost impossible. Ryan could only shake his head. "This is no ordinary worker," he muttered. "This is someone extraordinary." As she disappeared down the corridor, Ryan realized something important. Whoever she was, she had a purpose, and somehow he felt that he would see her again, soon, and in a way that would change everything on this station. The hooded worker, quiet and mysterious, remained hidden, but her strength, skill, and calm presence had already begun to stir curiosity, suspicion, and awe among everyone who noticed. Her and Ryan knew deep down that this was only the beginning. The mining station had settled into a rhythm after the near disaster in the shaft. Workers moved with cautious energy, checking machines, repairing broken panels, and whispering about the hooded figure who had saved lives. Ryan Hale could not shake the image of her agile movements, the calm precision in her actions, and the quiet authority that seemed to radiate from her. He had seen humans in tough situations before, but she was different. Ryan walked through the corridors, tools in hand, checking minor repairs while keeping an eye out for the hooded worker. The corridors were dimly lit, with yellow lamps casting long shadows across metal walls scarred from decades of labor. The hum of machinery filled the air, blending with the occasional metallic clang from a distant shaft. He rounded a corner when a sudden vibration shook the station. The lights flickered and a low alarm sounded. Ryan froze. This was no minor issue. "Not again," he muttered. Before he could react further, the main communication panel sparked. A voice, harsh and mechanical, came through the station's speakers. "Attention! Intruders have boarded the station. All personnel prepare for emergency protocol." Ryan's heart sank. Pirates. They had been a rumor for months. Criminal bands that attacked isolated stations for supplies, technology, and slaves. Most stations had small defense teams, but this mining station was not prepared for a direct assault. He ran toward the central hall, where workers were gathering in confusion. Aliens shouted instructions in overlapping languages, panic spreading quickly. "We need leadership," Ryan thought, "and fast." As he pushed through the crowd, he noticed movement at the edge of the hall. The hooded worker had appeared again. She moved like a shadow, weaving through the chaos with effortless grace. Her presence alone seemed to calm the frightened workers around her. Ryan called out, "We need to organize, get to the safe zones." The hooded worker approached him, her hood still low. She gestured to the hall's emergency control panel, pointing out weak spots in the defenses. Ryan studied her quickly, realizing she knew the station's layout better than anyone alive. Before he could ask, the pirate ships appeared outside the station's viewports. Small, fast, and heavily armed, they closed in like predatory birds circling their prey. The outer hull lights flashed red as automated turrets activated, but most of the pirates were already preparing to breach the station. The workers panicked further. Many had never seen a real attack. Some froze, some ran blindly, and a few tried to man defenses they had never trained on. Ryan felt a hand on his arm. The hooded worker's grip was firm, unshakable. She spoke softly, yet her voice carried authority. "We can't wait for others to save us. We have to act now." Ryan looked into her eyes for the first time fully and saw not fear, but focus. Something inside him shifted. He realized she was not just a worker or an engineer. She was trained, experienced and capable of leading in moments like this. "Then we fight," he said. The first wave of pirates broke through the station's outer defenses. Metal doors buckled, alarms blared louder, and smoke filled the hallways. Ryan and the hooded worker moved quickly among the panicked crowd, directing workers to safer zones. She spoke quietly to the aliens, giving clear instructions, her words simple but firm. Then came the moment that changed everything. A group of heavily armed pirates appeared in the central hall, their weapons trained on the workers. Most froze, unsure what to do. Ryan stepped forward, trying to buy time. The hooded worker moved beside him. With a swift motion, she pulled back her hood. Ryan's breath caught. It was human. Her face was calm, strong, and determined, eyes sharp and intelligent. Hair pulled back, not hiding her identity but revealing it with purpose. "Lyra Vale," she said clearly, as if introducing herself to the station for the first time. "I am here to stop these pirates." Ryan stared. You're human?" "Yes," she said. "And trained for situations like this. Now move, we don't have time to argue." The aliens stared in shock. Humans were rare in these parts, but one moving so quietly, acting with such precision and now revealing herself in the middle of an attack. It was astonishing. Lyra did not waste time. She directed Ryan to the station's secondary control room. "We need to seal the main corridors," she ordered. "You handle the engineering locks. I will lead the defense here." Ryan followed, amazed. Her confidence was magnetic. Even the alien workers, who had never trusted humans fully, listened to her. Her presence gave them courage. Her knowledge gave them direction. As they moved through the corridors, Lyra explained quietly to Ryan. "I am part of Earth's deep Exploration Corps. My mission is to observe and intervene when human technology is threatened by alien syndicates or pirates. I was undercover, disguised as a worker to learn the station and its systems without drawing attention." Ryan nodded slowly. "And all this time, you've been hiding among them?" "Yes," Lyra said. "It was necessary. The moment came, when the pirates attacked. I cannot stay hidden any longer." Ryan realized the truth. This was no ordinary human. She had skills, intelligence, and courage that went far beyond normal expectations. The pirates advanced through the hallways, breaking barriers and attacking workers. Lyra moved like a shadow, disarming enemies with quick strikes, avoiding fire, and directing others with precision. Ryan helped where he could, using his engineering tools to trigger security doors and trap the invaders. Each moment revealed more of Lyra's abilities. She was fast, strong, and strategic. She anticipated the pirates' moves, countering attacks that would have trapped most defenders. And she did it without shouting, without hesitation. Ryan saw the workers' reactions. Their eyes widened in awe. For the first time, they were witnessing what humans could do. Adapt quickly, fight strategically, and inspire others in the most dangerous moments. It was the essence of humanity shining brightly among the chaos. Finally, Lyra and Ryan reached the central hub. A large door separated them from the main pirate force. Lyra turned to Ryan. "Hold this line. I'll draw their attention." Ryan hesitated. "Be careful." She smiled briefly, a confident, knowing smile. "I always am." The pirates charged. Lyra stepped forward, moving with unbelievable speed. She deflected attacks, pushed the strongest pirates aside, and created openings for the workers to escape. Her movements were precise, efficient, and almost impossible to predict. Ryan watched, astonished. He realized humans were underestimated. In these regions for a reason. Aliens had never seen someone capable of combining intelligence, strength, and courage so naturally. The fight continued, and slowly, the tide began to turn. The pirates were skilled, but Lyra's leadership, Ryan's engineering skills, and the workers' growing confidence formed a force even the intruders could not overcome easily. By the end of the battle in the hub, the remaining pirates retreated, some injured, some captured. The workers cheered, lifting their voices in relief. Lyra stood in the center, her hood gone, fully revealed as a human. Ryan finally stepped forward. "Lyra, you saved this station. All of it." She shook her head. "We all saved it. You helped. The workers helped. Humans alone cannot do everything. We inspire, we lead, we adapt. But it takes everyone to survive." Ryan nodded, finally understanding. Humans were special, not just because of strength or intelligence, but because of the ability to bring others together, to act decisively, and to shine even in darkness. For the aliens who had doubted humans, the truth was clear. One human, in disguise as a simple worker, had changed the course of the battle and revealed the extraordinary potential of their species. And for Ryan, the hooded worker who had become Lyra Vale was no longer a mystery. She was a symbol of what humans could achieve: courage, skill, and the power to inspire even in the deadliest moments. The station hummed with the aftermath of the first pirate attack, but the danger had not passed. Outside, sensors detected more ships approaching, faster, larger, and heavily armed. The outer hull lights flashed red again. Workers rushed to repair damaged sections, their fear evident in every hurried step. Ryan Hale stood beside Lyra Vale in the central hub, watching the displays of approaching ships. His chest tightened. "They're not leaving. They're coming. Back, stronger this time." Lyra's eyes narrowed. "Then we will be ready. Everyone has a role. Humans, aliens, together. That is our only chance." Her calm confidence was contagious. Ryan realized that what they needed was not just firepower. It was strategy, courage, and unity, and that was something humans excelled at. Lyra moved quickly, assigning workers to critical positions. Some were tasked with manning the turrets, others with repairing damaged doors, and a few were sent to evacuate injured personnel. Her orders were clear, simple, and easy to follow, even for aliens who had never worked closely with humans before. Ryan followed her, amazed at how effortlessly she organized the chaos. "I've seen leaders before," he said quietly, "but you move like you've done this 100 times. Lyra glanced at him with a small, sharp smile. "I have prepared for moments like this, but preparation is nothing without action. Humans learn fast, Ryan. That is why we survive." Ryan nodded. He finally understood the lesson she wanted to teach. Strength alone did not win battles. Strategy, adaptability, and the ability to inspire others were just as important. The first wave of the second attack hit just as Lyra predicted. Pirate ships breached the station's outer shields and began cutting through corridors. This time, however, the workers were ready. Lyra led a small squad down the corridors, using mining tools and improvised weapons to block pirate paths. Her presence turned fear into courage. Workers who had once trembled now moved with purpose. Ryan worked alongside her, using his engineering skills to trigger automated defenses at key points. Together, they created choke points where the pirates could be delayed or captured. Lyra's ability to anticipate the pirates' moves was uncanny. She had studied their patterns, predicting where they would strike next, and was always one step ahead. The aliens watched in awe. They had seen humans before, but never like this. Humans who could adapt, think quickly, and act decisively under pressure. Lyra paused at a junction where the pirates had already breached a door. "Ryan, cover the engineers. I will hold them. Here." Ryan hesitated. "Be careful." She nodded briefly, stepping forward with a confident stride. The pirates charged. Lyra moved like a shadow among them, disarming attackers, pushing back with precise strikes, and creating space for the workers to pass. She was fast, strong, and strategic. Every movement was deliberate, every decision calculated. Ryan watched, astonished. "This is what humans can do when they are pushed," he whispered. "We don't panic. We adapt." The pirates, despite their numbers, began to falter. They had underestimated the station's defenses, the coordination of its workers, and the leadership of a single human who refused to back down. In the control room, Ryan directed the engineering systems while Lyra led the defense on the floor. They communicated with quick gestures and brief words, anticipating each other's moves without confusion. The station began to feel less like a chaotic place and more like a well-oiled machine, with humans and aliens working together under Lyra's guidance. One alien worker, a tall reptilian named Carr, looked at Lyra with newfound respect. "You are not like any human I have seen," he said. Lyra nodded. "Humans are adaptable. We learn, we fight, and we survive. But we also inspire others to do the same. That is our strength." Ryan realized that this was the essence of HFY. Humans were not the strongest in terms of raw power, but their ability to adapt, unite, and lead made them extraordinary. The second wave of pirates attempted to storm the reactor room. Lyra moved swiftly to intercept them, positioning workers in defensive formations. She used the station's low gravity to her advantage, leaping across gaps, sliding under attacks, and striking with perfect timing. Every move was precise. Every decision was correct. Ryan helped activate emergency doors, trapping pirates in narrow corridors where they could be neutralized without risking the workers. Together, the two humans turned the tide. Despite their success, the battle was far from over. The pirates regrouped, sending more ships toward the station. The outer shields were weakening and the hull showed signs of stress. Lyra paused for a moment, taking a deep breath. "We can hold them," she said. "But we must be smart. Humans do not give up, and neither should anyone else here." Her words spread quickly through the station. Workers straightened, aliens lifted their heads, and determination replaced fear. The energy of unity, led by a human, filled the corridors. Hours passed, and the station's defense grew stronger. Lyra led patrols. Ryan managed the engineering systems, and the workers followed orders with efficiency and courage. Pirate attacks became less effective. Their strategy was predictable, and Lyra anticipated their moves at every turn. Ryan watched as she moved among the chaos. Her presence was calming yet commanding. Workers trusted her instinctively, and aliens followed her lead despite their previous doubts about humans. At one point, a pirate charged at Lyra directly. She sidestepped, using the station's walls and machinery to gain leverage. In a swift motion, she disarmed the pirate, sending him sprawling to the floor. She did not gloat. She did not hesitate. She simply returned to her position, ready for the next threat. Ryan marveled at her efficiency. Humans could be underestimated, but Lyra showed exactly why they were exceptional. Intelligence, courage, adaptability, and the ability to inspire others. These were traits that no weapon could replace. The climax of the second attack came when the pirates tried to breach the station's central core. Lyra directed Ryan to the engineering controls. "We can use the reactor to slow them down," she explained, "but it must be precise. One wrong move and the whole station could be destroyed." Ryan nodded, trusting her judgment. He worked the controls while Lyra organized the workers to defend the core physically. Aliens and humans formed a line, their combined strength and coordination making it impossible for pirates to advance. Lyra moved among them, adjusting positions, offering quick instructions, and encouraging the workers with simple words of confidence. Her leadership turned fear into determination. When the pirates finally attempted a full breach, they were met with overwhelming resistance. The combined human and alien defense, guided by Lyra's strategy and courage, forced the intruders to retreat. The station was quiet once more. Workers cheered, exhausted but proud. Aliens nodded in respect toward Lyra, realizing the truth of her words. Humans were capable of extraordinary things. Ryan stood beside her, smiling. "You've done it again," he said. Lyra shook her head. "We did it. Humans alone cannot succeed without others. But we can inspire, we can lead, and we can adapt. That is why we survive." Ryan realized that this was the essence of the HFY spirit. Humans were not the strongest species physically, nor were they invincible. But their courage, intelligence, adaptability, and ability to unite others made them extraordinary in the universe. The aliens now looked at humans differently. No longer just rare visitors or strange outsiders. They were beings of potential, capable of turning even the direst situation into a victory. Lyra smiled briefly at Rian. The pirates will come again. But now, the station knows it can stand against them. Humans have a way of making others believe in themselves. That is power beyond weapons. Rian nodded, understanding fully for the first time why humans had survived in the harshest places in the galaxy. It was not just skill or technology. It was the will, the mind and the spirit to adapt, survive, and lead others. The rising conflict had revealed more than danger. It had revealed the extraordinary potential of humanity. And Lyra Vale, once a hidden worker, had become the symbol of that potential. The station hung in silence, broken only by the hum of machinery and the occasional alarm echoing from distant sections. Outside, the dead star cast a pale glow on the metal hull, illuminating scars from the pirate attacks. The workers moved cautiously, repairing damage and tending to the injured. Every hallway still carried the tension of battle, but hope had returned. Rian Hale walked beside Lyra Vale in the central hub. Both were exhausted, yet determined. The pirates had retreated once, but sensors showed more ships approaching. Final desperate strike. Lyra's eyes, sharp and calm, scanned the readings. "They're not giving up," Ryan said, tension in his voice. Lyra nodded. "Then neither will we. This station, its workers, its people. We will stand together. That is how humans survive. That is how we inspire others to survive." Her words spread quickly through the corridors. Aliens and humans alike readied themselves. Shields were reinforced, turrets manned, and barricades strengthened. Every worker, whether human, reptilian, insectoid, or gas-breathing, moved with purpose. Fear had been replaced by determination, guided by Lyra's calm leadership. The first wave of the final attack struck hard. Pirate ships broke through outer shields and fired down corridors with devastating precision. Alarms blared as explosions shook the hull. Workers scrambled, but this time they moved with training and confidence. Lyra led the defense, moving swiftly among them, directing actions, blocking pirate paths and using the station's environment to her advantage. Ryan assisted from the engineering bay, controlling doors, energy flow, and emergency shields. He marveled at her strategy. Every move was calculated, every instruction saved lives. The pirates were skilled, but they could not anticipate the coordination of humans and aliens working together under Lyra's leadership. The battle intensified in the central corridors. Pirates swarmed in groups, heavily armed and determined. Lyra stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. She moved like a shadow, deflecting attacks, striking with precise timing, and creating openings for workers to act. Her agility was unmatched, and her mind raced faster than anyone could follow. Ryan watched, astonished. "She's incredible," he whispered. "Not just skilled, but inspiring." Humans had a unique ability to act under pressure and inspire others to rise with them. That was the essence of HFY. Humans were not the strongest, but they were exceptional. In mind, heart, and spirit. Workers who had once been terrified now fought with courage. Aliens hesitated less, following Lyra's guidance. One insectoid worker, previously frozen with fear, managed to disable a pirate's weapon and saved a smaller worker. A gas-breathing alien engineer used pipes to block a corridor, trapping several intruders. Every act of courage, every quick decision was inspired by humans like Lyra and Ryan. In the reactor room, a group of pirates attempted to sabotage the station's core. Lyra directed Rian to adjust the energy flow while she confronted the intruders. "Ryan, keep the power stable," she ordered. "I'll handle the rest." He nodded, focusing on the complex engineering controls. Lyra moved among the pirates, with unbelievable speed. She disarmed them with minimal force, using their own momentum against them. Her calm presence allowed the workers to move safely and take control of key sections. Every pirate taken down, every corridor defended, strengthened the morale of the station. Workers were no longer afraid. They were fighting for survival, led by humans who had proven their courage and intelligence beyond doubt. At one critical moment, a massive pirate armed with heavy weapons charged toward Lyra. She sidestepped, using the walls for leverage, and struck with precision, knocking him off balance. The other pirates hesitated, unsure how to respond. In that instant, the station's workers acted together, pushing the invaders into traps and locking doors behind them. Ryan, watching from the engineering bay, felt pride swell inside him. Humans were extraordinary, not only in skill but in the ability to unite others, to inspire courage and to act decisively when everything seemed lost. Outside the station, the remaining pirate ships fired sporadically, but their attacks grew weaker. Shields held, turrets were effective, and the station's defenses, guided by human strategy, kept the invaders at bay. Lyra and Ryan coordinated perfectly, showing that intelligence and teamwork could overcome brute force. In the final confrontation, the pirates realized they could not break the station. Their numbers dwindled, their morale faltered, and eventually they retreated. Explosions shook the hull as they fled into space, leaving the station battered but intact. Workers cheered, some exhausted, some injured, but all alive. They had survived an attack that could have destroyed the station. And it was humans like Lyra, guiding them with courage and intelligence, who had made the difference. After the battle, the central hall was filled with workers tending to the wounded and repairing minor damage. Lyra stood in the center, hood fully removed, her human form fully visible to all. Her eyes scanned the room, calm yet proud. Ryan approached her. "You did it. You saved everyone." Lyra shook her head. "We did it. Humans can inspire, but it takes courage from everyone to survive. That is what makes this victory real." Workers, once skeptical of humans, now looked at Lyra with admiration. The aliens had witnessed the exceptional abilities of humans: adaptability, intelligence, courage, and leadership. No longer were humans seen as rare outsiders. They were beings of potential, capable of turning impossible situations into triumphs. Ryan reflected on the events. Humans were not invincible. They were not the strongest species physically, but their minds, their hearts, and their will to act in the face of danger made them remarkable. That was the essence of HFY. Lyra addressed the workers quietly but firmly. "The pirates will return someday, but today you have learned something important. Courage is not just in strength. Intelligence is not just in machines. Together with humans and aliens united, nothing is impossible. You have all proven that today." The aliens nodded, understanding the truth in her words. Even the largest, most intimidating workers bowed slightly in respect to her. Humans, small in number but extraordinary in capability, had become symbols of hope. Ryan smiled, finally seeing the bigger picture. Lyra's strength was not only in her skills but in her ability to inspire others to rise above fear. Humans were capable of greatness in ways no alien technology could match. As the station quieted, Lyra moved toward the observation deck, looking out at the dark void. The dead star below reflected pale light on the hull, and distant ships glimmered, far in the distance. She knew her mission was not over. The universe was vast, dangerous, and full of unknown threats. But she also knew that humans had a unique gift: the ability to face danger, adapt, and inspire others to survive. Ryan joined her. "Will you stay?" he asked. Lyra shook her head slightly. "Not yet. My mission continues. But the story of this station, the courage of these workers, and the lessons we learned will spread. Humans may be few, but our presence changes everything." Ryan nodded, understanding the weight of her words. Humans were more than they appeared. Even disguised as a simple worker, one human could turn the tide of battle, unite species, and demonstrate extraordinary potential. The station began to repair, workers moving with renewed confidence. The aliens no longer saw humans as outsiders. They saw them as beings capable of brilliance and courage. And for Ryan, the hooded worker who had revealed herself as Lyra Vale was no longer a mystery. She was proof of the extraordinary potential of humanity. In the vast, cold universe, among alien worlds and dangerous stars, humans had a place. They were not the strongest, nor the most numerous, but their courage, adaptability, and spirit could shine brighter than the fiercest weapons or the largest fleets. Lyra Vale smiled faintly. The station was safe, for now, but the universe awaited, full of challenges that only humans could face in their unique way. And wherever danger appeared, humans like her would rise, inspire, and prove that humanity could stand out, even among the stars. And for everyone who witnessed it, there was no doubt humans were extraordinary,